What is going on, guys? We have behind me my '03 Mercury Marauder, and I bought this with the specific intention on Coyote swapping with a Gen 3 and a 10-speed. And that is what we are going to be doing in this video. We've actually had the car for a little bit. It's been in the background of the videos. If you guys watch the videos a lot, you guys saw that this beautiful 50,000 mile car, one owner, clean title, no accidents, got hit up front. Unfortunately, that happened, but the car is still super clean. What I did to fix that is I actually bought another Marauder. I got that one back there. That one didn't run that well. I fixed it. Now that one runs well. I feel a little bad about robbing the front bumper from there, but this one is gonna be super duper clean. The goal here, 4-door, sleeper, some boost, Gen 3 with a 10-speed. It's got a blown up 4.64 valve. It's got like 0 compression and a few cylinders. So this thing really is blown up. We're gonna go pull this engine out, and I'd also like to accomplish at least test fitting a little mock-up Coyote that I have here, right over there. Right over here, we have a fresh, low mileage Gen 3 10-speed Mustang drivetrain. So we have the engine, trans, ECU. We also have the power by the hour control pack. We have the Coyote pan to switch over from plastic to metal. And we got a few other goodies for that. Engine, trans is out. It bled a little bit. Glad we have this test fit Coyote. Makes for pulling this in and out. This is a huge time saver. First problem is the cross member here. It's nailing the pan. I think we can see the scratches there. Someone makes a motor mount kit for this. We're gonna take a look at that. Before we go ahead and order that, you know, the other option is we can cut out a little bit of this cross member and get that trans or oil pan to kind of sit down in there. So we don't want to modify the oil pan. That's kind of a reinvent the wheel oil pressure concern. You know, we just really don't want to do a custom pan. So we're going to possibly cut up the cross member there, or we can go get those other motor mounts and do some spacers and get the engine up. I just don't want the engine to sit super high. All right, so we got the 11 to 14 manifolds down in here, and we look pretty good on the steering shaft. Kind of thinking cut the cross member so we can get the engine to sit down there. So you see that gap that we have there, so that's how much the engine has to come back down. Now you can see the motor mount's almost fully seated down. It looks like we're gonna have to just bring a little bit more clearance of this just down a little bit more, and it should fully seat. I went ahead and dented a little bit on this side. We're gonna do it a little bit more, just clearance a little bit of the frame rail. But once we clear out a little bit more of this pan on the K member, we should be rocking and rolling. Got the mock-up motor in with the Outcast AutoWorks motor mounts. They allow for a little bit of adjustment to bring the engine backwards. So obviously the engine tilted down right now, it's not even bolted in, but if my lovely assistant here, Bradley, put it forward, we actually have clearance on the stock pan, and I think I'm gonna run the stock pan. All right, so we are looking at the Marauder drivetrain right here. It's a fairly low mileage unit that was in an accident. I think it's stock. I think it's stock.
Oh man.
We gotta do some work, bud. We got a boundary unit pretty much ready to go. We'll pour a little bit of oil probably in here to get it kind of a little primed up. Just like that. Easy peasy. So we got the Boundary 15 plus crank here. 2 days later, we are doing, we already got the timing cover all buttoned up, and we are doing the oil pan metal pan conversion. We got a steel Gen 1, Gen 2 pan. We got the gasket and windage tray. Well, you can see the oil pan is on, and there's this weird thing on top of the engine. It's sitting really high. Oh boy. So you are looking at the Marauder 1,000 horsepower setup. Right here we have the Gen 3 Coyote, which just did the oil pump here, crank here, you guys saw that. Swapped over to the metal pan. This thing is ready to make 1,000 horsepower. This is a ported Predator blower. I was gonna use this on OG, but I decided to change things up, and I knew this engine's ready to go for 1,000 horsepower. And that's what we're gonna do. Have it. First Predator blower swapped, whatever you want to call it, Marauder in the world. This has never been done, and I'm pretty sure no one has put a 10-speed in it. We do have the power by the hour control pack. That's what this is right here. That's going to make things easy. It's basically like making a standalone out of a stock computer, and we have a PATS deleted stock ECU. I think I got to get some injectors on the way, probably some 1,000 cc's. That should be good for about 900 wheel horsepower, which is probably about where this is going to land. So this thing's going to be pretty nuts. Clearancing. I thought she was thick enough. Pause. Well, we ended up cracking her.
Oh, we got another good news,
bad news situation right here.
You want to tell us what's going on?
Okay, so my welds are perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, we're actually doing great down here.
Don't ever let me use the hammer. You want to know why? I cracked the header up there.
It was, you know, it was 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Don't ever let me get the hammer again. Just...
All right, so you're telling me that I get to knock in the trans tunnel?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to use the hammer.
Yeah, shoot. Hey, if I'm knocking in the trans tunnel, we're gonna be here all week.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Step 1, remove anything that looks like it might hit. Doesn't look that bad.
No, it really honestly doesn't look like it's been beat up that much.
But we've definitely made some room already.
Oh yeah, for sure. We've opened it up quite a bit.
We've got the 10R80 here pretty much lined up.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost even.
Yeah.
It's almost made it to the engine, dude.
But we are gonna have to do a little bit of massaging.
This kind of part where it comes down more, that's gonna have to get beat in.
Well, she's in. We're just kind of looking at the angle thing, but, well, the transjacks keeps kind of going down. But that, I think, is around the area where it's going to sit. And if you actually look, this comes right in line with the trans mount pretty good. I got a lot of the wiring kind of plumbed, and a lot of things are plugged in. So we're actually pretty close to starting it. We got to do the fuel system today. But we got under here, we got the key on. So when you key it on, you'll actually hear the throttle body will actually open and close, do the test yet. And then it actually turns over on the key, which is pretty cool. We went to LKQ pick and pull this morning. We found an 09 or 08 Explorer 4.6 3-valve 2-wheel drive, which is a very hard combo to find because most are either 4-wheel drive or V6. However, they have this unicorn aluminum drive shaft. And why am I holding it in the car? Because some fucking dickhead decided to cut this thing. They charged us 20 bucks for it, which isn't bad because we were able to test fit it. But like, check this out. Like, this is bolt-in $60 drive shaft right here. It's aluminum. Like, I would trust this to a lot of horsepower. This looks very similar to your, DSS or something like that you would pick up aftermarket. Ford OEM quality, nice flanges. I think this is gonna work. Okay, so fuel system. I actually have a set of ID 1050Xs. We're gonna roll with this. That should be good for 900 wheel horsepower or so. How we're gonna run this. So I found that the O2 Crown Vic has a return style fuel system hat. We're gonna put that in place. We're gonna strap 2 Walbro 465s to it, run a T up. It's gonna go to a 3/8 quick connect. It's gonna go to 8AN. From there, 8AN forward, Y block. The Y block's gonna come up somewhere through here, and we're gonna hit our rail with 8 right here in the back. So 8AN in, and then we're gonna return. Either this side's probably gonna go out around over there, and our regulator's gonna sit there. The return line's gonna go back that way. I have my handy dandy fuel cell. Here's our return line. We're gonna hook our feed, which we actually built the fuel lines to the Y block to here. So we didn't backstep, but we ran them back out the car.
We're just sidestepping right now.
We're sidestepping, but this will go into there, and I think that should support 65 PSI for idle. We're gonna fire it up on here. He's not tuned yet, but you hear that thing? We got most of the fuel lines actually ran. We got the return to the rear. I didn't cut this yet because I wanted to make sure we got a good angle there. Well, funny enough, we found out this fuel tank, which has bad gas, has actually basically rotted some holes into it. So we're gonna go ahead and replace the whole tank assembly. That's gonna be the easiest way to go. Now, coming down here, the 10R80 trans is sitting pretty good. We got the trans cross member, basically clearance real well. So I cut out a lot of this here, and I actually have to go ahead and mark just right here. I gotta cut just a little bit more out of this area so this can sit down. And then we're gonna put a hole there, so that way this can go ahead and mount to there. And then we're probably gonna use the scraps that I cut out to go ahead and back reinforce it around the structure that we just remade. I also went ahead and just threw some paint on some of the areas that we used to clearance, so that way we don't have some rusting issues in the future. Overall, I think we're looking pretty good. We got the trans cooler mounted, got the heat exchanger mounted. We got most of the lines. I ordered some AN fittings for the power steering lines that'll remove these factory power steering lines that are hanging. And we're gonna put the Volvo pump somewhere over here. I think after I knock out this cross member, I might actually start pulling the other Marauder apart so we can get the front bumper fitted up and make sure all those accessories fit under it. But that's where it's looking right now. Trans is looking good, centered. So we just need to finish this up and we'll be looking pretty good. Even the exhaust, it looks like we're gonna have some pretty good fitment there.
Bradley up here in Jacksonville reporting from the Nissan Altima. We've got a drive shaft for the old Marauder. They just happen to have this drive shaft from a rear-wheel drive 4.6 06 to 2010 Explorer. Got it for $100. Can't really beat that. And so we're gonna take this thing deck down to DeLand and go get it slapped in the Marauder.
We overnighted some parts from Jacksonville. Yo, buddy. That's a nice shaft.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's funny is I kind of gave it a pat. I gave it a pep talk. I said, you have no idea what you're about to go through, buddy.
Well, should we throw it in?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a freaking rig right there, man. Look at that. I mean, it could not be any more perfect than that.
So I went ahead and picked up some 3/8 to 8AN for the feed and 5/16 to 8AN for the return, hoping that that'll be enough for the return. If it isn't, we can weld something in here. I also picked up an electrical connector bulkhead so we can go ahead and run some thicker wires in there. But if you guys look over here, we have our brand new tank as well. So essentially we're gonna build our dual 465 system. We're gonna run 2 pumps down there, tee it in. I'll show this all there. And then we're just gonna drop this guy in there like factory. And we're gonna have a brand new fuel system, 100%. So that's awesome. Here is the completed rig, and I'm pretty happy with it. So come over here, obviously feed, return, those are gonna go to ANs. Very simple, return, shoves down at the bottom. We got the two 465s fed into this T-piece, which is fed into the feed. We have all the electrical connections there. Ended up putting the two pumps this way because they wouldn't fit on the backside. So it may be zip tied, but this thing's very secure, and I'd like to see some other way to do it because I think this works pretty well. Level sender, all that's still there. Looks pretty good. Added a bulkhead for the electrical that should seal up. All right, lay off the brake. All the way. Yeah, it's moving. So this is the invention that we came up with. This is the stock 10 or 80 bracket. I trimmed this piece off. That's bolted to this transcooler line. I might have to secure this in another way so it can't pivot backwards. And then we welded that to a rod end, which has adjustment, which is cool. This is the stock piece. I have a one that's taking forever to come in from Fat Fender Garage. I've been waiting for like 2 weeks for it, but it's supposed to have a like hole there, so that way we can do it. But right now we have the vice grip just holding this rod end on. All right, try reverse. Yep, that's good. Neutral. Yep, drive. Yep, sport mode. Perfect. And back to park. Working pretty good with the vice grip right now. Now for the Volvo pump, we actually got this started as well. We got high pressure 6 AN PTFE. I also got some AN power steering connects. So I got little, those are already on. They're O-ring factory style connect with a little plate that sandwiches it into the power steering rack. And what we're gonna do is AN PTFE high pressure for the high pressure out. That's gonna go right from the pump to the rack. And then from the rack, we also got a 90-degree AN to barb. So the low pressure return, it's not high pressure, so we don't need to run an AN line. And this makes it easy because now I can link in the factory power steering cooler, which is part of the radiator, and that's gonna return to the low pressure on the power steering pump. And then power steering's done. It's really that simple. We got our wiring ran. We just kind of ran our 3 different accessories all together. So we have our power steering pump. We're waiting for the pigtail to come in. So we have our trigger, power, ground, and we have a fuse up at the battery. This thing has its own relay. So all it needs is a key on or activation signal. That's good. This is wired to the radiator fan on the control pack. So that should be good to go. And we got the intercooler pump, which is ran to the fuel pump power. And that guy is plugged in as well right there. We're gonna get a nice large clamp to clamp the intercooler pump there. Right now it's just zip tied or a bracket, but we're gonna get that nice in there. We already tested that, that system works. All right, a few minutes later, got the bumper, the grill, and ready? Brand new headlights. All right, I think we're ready to back it out. Looks wild outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, that seemed like it was all the gears.
822, I'm happy for the first dyno session. I think it's ready to rip once we tighten up a few loose ends. Making a custom hood for the Marauder, dude.
Trying to attempt to.
That's a 2020 GT500 hood scoop, OEM. Don't mind the dust. It's gonna get dustier here once we start cutting. We also just got the side panels back on. This thing's still in need of a heavy buff, but when those adhere up, things starting to come along.
I didn't realize how bad traction was gonna be until we got out on the road and this thing tried to kill me. Oh boy, the wheels are on. But if you guys notice, what is that? So there's this little switch back here, and I thought this was aftermarket. It's actually factory. Now see, that's your ride height sensor. And it goes off of this little arm. This arm is slotted. So there's 11 mil and 8 mil bolt. You're gonna loosen that, lowering my Marauder for free. Right now, I believe we have it all the way as high as it can go, which I think is like factory. So that's all the way this way to the passenger side. Move it all the way this way. That's max low. Oh, it's going down. I think it's gonna come down even more. Yep. Yeah, I don't think you guys can see it, but I can feel it. It's so sick. I wish the front was on bags so bad. It'd be like literally perfect. Dang. I think the car looks pretty dang good. I'm excited to see it outside. I do think we need to drop the front, and I think we're gonna do that, but we're gonna solve the old hanging down heat exchanger problem. You guys know what that is? That's a Magic Drift front chin spoiler for a Mustang. I found this pic on the internet of another Marauder with one of these on it. Looks sick, and I think it's gonna cover that heat exchanger. Damn! I think it looks so sick. It covers the heat exchanger. Damn, I think this thing looks insane. I think if we drop the front just a hair, I mean really like an inch, and I think it'll be like perfect ride height. All right, tires on. We're gonna do a little watt hit, first time ever, hopefully with some traction.
Holy shit!
Bro, no way! Marauder's been a cruiser, nice and smooth, but also super fast. We've now broken some serious 60 to 130 records.
Holy shit! Oh my god! Holy shit!
way faster over here in the passenger seat.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh man. In the passenger seat is, yeah, it's very different.